Hello, hello. Welcome. Let's tune in. Yes, we've got sweet peas. We love a sweet pea. Okay, I hope you're well and amazing. Living in the love space. Holding up the love sauce. Drizzling it everywhere. Okay. What have you been up to? Let's see. That one. You've been up to taking ownership of self, interestingly enough. You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them all as lessons. Okay. Taking ownership of yourself. Personal accountability. Responsibility. I own all the choices I've made and didn't make, all the reactions I reacted and didn't reacted and didn't reacted. Okay, I'm doing 3 shuffles here. Okay. Ownership and hospitality and interbeingness. Seriously. And discrimination. And love never ends. Unreal. Okay, these ones that flipped at the beginning that I turned and was like, let's keep shuffling. It's because these cards came out. Spirit wants us to talk about what Spirit wants us to talk about. Okay. Beautiful. So a 34 and a 24, a 15 and a 14. And what I'm getting is your ownership, your accountability, your recognition of all steps to now. All steps led to now, and therefore we're an important part of the journey, right? We're an important part of the process and needs to be honored as such in order to really honor yourself in your now is to honor all the steps taken to get you there, right? So we've got hospitality, which is beautiful because I just made this oak leaf earring, okay? And this one is wearing an oak leaf earring, okay? With all the acorns of possibilities in your mind and your connection to your higher self, right? So the hospitable ground you create in order to receive. And the interbeingness, how one affects the whole, how we are all drops of water on a surface of a pond or a lake, and each drop ripples out and covers and expands, right? And with all of our ripples, we cover the surface. Also, I'm getting protection to be, right? This peacock here is also holding a flame. So the peacock being seen authentically and following passions. I'm also getting the protectiveness because of the bobcat here, the lynx, and these doves. So a peace is peace, right? So taking ownership of how one affects the whole, how the work that you do affects all those in vicinity, in the same way that a tuning fork activates all other tuning forks in the vicinity to vibrate at the same frequency. Okay, and discrimination and love never ends. Okay, this is your ability to discriminate, to decide based on fact and experience and intuition and inner knowing what is love and what is not love. And you are embodying, embracing, emboldening love with your discrimination, right? Oh, this isn't love. This isn't the love party. Bye. I'm at the wrong one. I'm out of here. Okay. Okay. Yes. Ownership of your connection, of your range, reach, and of your dedication. I want to say discernment and dedication, right? It is a conviction. It's a conviction. It's a commitment. It's a loyalty to love, is what it is, which is loyalty to self because you are love. And this creates gorgeous love ripples. Into the cosmos. Oh, it's reminding me. I am being reminded of something. Okay, we've got liberation. Ooh, the ownership of your liberation, of your release of all the doubts and fears, limiting beliefs, and prejudices that we impose upon ourselves. It's interesting that discrimination and prejudice are coming in together, right? Let's look it up. Let's see what it has to say for us. What additional additions? Oh, what additional additions? Where are ya? Liberate yourself. Come on. The energy of liberation gives you the strength to let go of your judgments about yourself. Okay, there's no prejudice there, but judgments about yourself. The freedom that arises strengthens your self-esteem and your self-image. Okay, so part of your ownership of self is a strengthening of who you are and what you stand for, right? The more you take responsibility, the more you claim ownership, the more empowered you become, because whatever the consequence, you are able to face, mend, overcome. And that's a beautiful thing. To be able to discern love, to choose it, to take accountability for those moments when you don't. And that's gorgeous. And that's gorgeous. Okay. Let's see what. Did somebody flip? Nope. Otta. This one is the Degas. Okay, new dawn, new day. New opportunity to walk in your truth, to stand firm in your knowing, and to be gorgeous. Okay, breakthrough, awakening, enlightenment, balance point, and transformation. This is beautiful. That balance point comes with wisdom. Every time you balance one way or the other, or tip one way to the other, you are strengthening, redefining, defining your core self, being in ownership of yourself. Right? We can hold ourselves accountable for things and choices that we made when we were younger and didn't know any better. And when those choices present themselves, we can anticipate the same response. But when you recognize, acknowledge, take ownership of the journey, of your process, of your transformation, you can release those expectations because you're a new version of you. You're going to make different choices because you have different information, right? Okay. Let's do a proper shuffle. What do we got here? Balancing and intuition. Beautiful. This is the new way now, is to go within, to trust the unknown and your inner magic, your knowing, your connection with your wisdom. Okay. Who's coming out to start? The Terra. Okay, protection. We've got the Knight of Swords here, coming out to stand sentinel, to guard, to ready for action, ready to communicate truth, ready to cut away. This is my bouncer at the party of love, okay, making sure that everything that enters is joyful, glorious, gorgeous, coming from a place of love. It's the fear bouncer. Oh, fear, sorry. Fear's not allowed here. Oh, it's just a little bit of doubt. It's harmless. No. No doubt, no doubt. Okay, so energetic protection. This is part of your holding of your love frequency. Okay, guys. Keeping yourself anchored. I'm also getting groundedness. It's like there's no wasting of your energy. The sword here, grounded in. I want to put it right like that, grounded in your truth. Grounded in your truth. She lives on Love Street, lingers long on Love Street. She has a house and garden. I would like to see what happens. The Doors. Okay. Nobody else? Nobody else wants to come out. Oh, Clump. Oh, Clump. Okay, what do we got? We got all things that we need today. Get the Wheel of Fortune turning in your favor because you are holding the love frequency. Demonstrated by the Empress. Okay, yes, the holder of the love vibe. Ooh, there's your passion stick. What I was seeing with the peacock. Okay, being led by passion, sparks of interest, sparks of inspiration. Oh, we've got the heart wounds. Okay, this is part of your ownership of self, right? You acknowledge your misdeeds and accomplishments alike and learn to love them all as lessons. This is part of your ownership, is the wounds that you had to endure and overcome and heal, process, and find gold within, right? And then release. So you had to do a lot of things in your heart space, and it required you to develop this beautiful connection. Again, right? More confirmation of process, of all steps, all stepping stones leading to now. We're important. We're valid. We're integral even. You cannot get here without those steps, right? If you were to look back, you would see how stuck you would have been if it weren't for those stepping stones, right? You'd see huge gaps in your life. Whoa. A feather just floated up. Okay. It went from down there and across and out of sight. Okay. So that's going to mean something. I don't know what. It was a white fluffy feather. Downy feather. Okay, so this is part of your, okay, because we've got this happening. Okay, so this was part of the things that you grounded in, and it was necessary to building this version of self, the one who stands sentinel and protects the peace, right? Nope, sorry, drama, trauma, that way, right? Go around back, or whatever the case may be. The bouncer that only lets love in the party. The love fest, right? Okay. Whew. Can I get a heat wave? too late. I already have one. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, anybody else want to come out? Okay, we got the victory. We've got you at the top of the mountain. You've reached the point. You've reached the point, and now this is you standing at the top of the mountain. Okay, rippling out your gorgeous love vibe from a higher perspective, allowing greater range, which is beautiful. Yes. Okay. Why don't we try some of these cards? Because they're so satisfying. Okay. I can just get my hands around them. What do we got? The 9 of Swords and the 6 of Cups. I don't think I've ever seen the 6 of Cups. Look at it. Sharing is caring. Okay, and the 9 of Swords. It's like leaving toxic family environments. That's what I'm getting from that. I choose peace over toxic family environments. Leather jacket. I swear they're the ones that inspired. Fairies. Because they're long legs. They look like fairies. I mean, they are fairies. Okay. Let's take this one, that one, and that one, and we'll do one on either side there. To deepen each card meaning, okay? So we got the wheel, we got the mountaintop, we've got the connection, and we've got inspiration, and we're starting with what we have grounded in. Wow. Okay, it's the sun. So I feel like this is confirmation. I'm getting the fertilizer for the soil. So when the sun comes out, all the things bloom and grow, right? Because the Empress pops out seeds everywhere she goes, okay? So beautiful confirmation of this ownership, right? This acknowledgement of all the steps, all of them, good, bad, ugly, right? Were necessary. Okay, let's go to your sparks of inspiration. Wow, we got the Hierophant. Okay, this is your self mastery, your dedication, your willingness to learn, evolve, grow, sacred oaths that you create with spirit, with self, with other. You are, your passion stick, your inspiration is coming from an educated place, from a place of mastery, right? A recognition of what is worth going after, putting energy into. Okay, let's go to this side. We got the 6 of Swords, beautiful, over the 7 of Pentacles, okay? This was your active choosing to move away from dysregulation and do what is necessary to tap in. I'm still trying to figure out a spot for my thing so that I can chime it whenever I want to. Perhaps now is not the time to figure it out, but I want to be able to use it. So for now, okay. Okay, and then we're going to your 7 of Wands, okay, which is your victory. You're getting to the top of the mountain. You're reaching your goal, your perspective, all of that jazz, okay? We got the 8 of Wands, which is beautiful, okay? It's also, so this fast-moving energy, right? A 7 and an 8, this picking up speed, this fiery movement, but also the rainbow crow, the story of the rainbow crow. All the crows used to be beautifully rainbowed. And there was something, people were freezing and starving. Anyways, the rainbow crow flew to the sun. I think he flew to the sun god and asked for help, right? And the sun god gave him a flaming stick to bring back to the people. But on the way back, it was burning or charring the crow. And so that's why crows are black. But with in certain light, you can see that they are rainbow. So there's something about the sacrifice for the good of all. It also, the crows are protected. Nothing will ever, like, it's not prey to anything. And this was part of its divine protection for the sacrifice that it made for the good of all. Okay, so I'm getting something about the interbeingness and your dedication and how it is acting like a beacon or a way showing for others. And this tracks, right? We're elevating the collective with our love frequency. That's why we hold it, right? Okay, and then on your wheel of fortune, we've got the 7 of Swords. Okay, and as much as this one looks weird and creepy, the story that goes with it, this fox actually removes all of the daggers that were aimed, and so I think it's actually a symbol of all of your troubles have been cleared. We also have 3 7s. I'm just noticing. Okay, let's just double check that. As soon as I say something is something, I find out it's not. Okay. The 7 of Swords is a trickster, and the coyote represents deceit in all forms. Okay, from small pranks to terrible scandals. He is clever and manipulative, but more often than not, he is caught by his own schemes and has to pay for them dearly. Okay, that's, where did I get my other one from? See, I just got to go with what comes up because I don't even know where it comes from. Okay, but then it makes me feel like I don't know what I'm talking about, which, could also be the case. Okay. So when it is upright, but I don't do reversed, so we'll just read them both. Strategy, cunning, thievery, cheating, manipulation, conscious, confession, getting caught, outsmarted, and deception. Okay, so what does that have to do with your Wheel of Fortune? I feel like that's what you are coming out of. I mean, it has to be, where people were manipulating you and cheating, stealing from you, strategizing against you, using your pure intention against you, right? Like when I was growing up, it took me a while to figure out when people were being manipulative, because I couldn't for the life of me, the things never crossed my mind. So therefore I never assumed like how a person could intentionally manipulate or cause harm to somebody else, especially when, what did they do? What did they do except for just being, right? So I feel like this is part of your turning of the wheel, okay? This Wheel of Fortune. Again, you needed to go through the hurts and manipulations and the pains, right? In order to be solidly standing in where you are now. Now you know. Now those things are visible, right? Now you are seeing the things more clearly than ever before. Now you've got this sentinel who has heard all the stories and seen all the attempts, heard all the catchphrases, right? And not falling for that crap anymore. We're just not falling for it. Okay. But I also want to say, because you get back what you give, right? And so I feel like there's also the Wheel of Fortune turning for those who have manipulated you, or not just you, but anybody who is innocent and didn't deserve it, right? Anybody who was showing up in love, all those who tried to claim, own, and manipulate that energy is gonna get it. Is gonna get back, okay? This is just how karma works. This is why true white light workers never turn their energy towards another in malicious intent. You get back what you give tenfold. If you're being deceitful, if you're being manipulative, if you're being non-transparent or moving from ulterior motives that are not rooted in love. I don't know about you, but my divine spirit team takes no prisoners. I had, before I was even connected, and looking back now, I recognize that was my divine spirit team, but there were 2 incidences that I know of for sure where 2 people blatantly, outright, and I saw it, and that was when I, couldn't see a lot. So it was so blatant that I saw it. Both of them, it did not end well for both of those people. Okay, 3. There was 3. 2 of them ended with fire. So, that's why now I'm like, oh, that's my dragon. Those were my dragons protecting me. Okay. But yeah, there was one instance where I was taking photos with a photographer who, are we friends? I thought we were friends. And we took a bunch of pictures. There was 3 of us, and we had a really great time drinking wine, playing dress up, bonding, getting to know each other. And at one point I was going through this stage where I was taking ownership of my mama body, right? My stretched out tummy, and from my portal. And so I ended up getting naked in some of these shots. So the next day, I wake up sober and I'm like, oh, okay, we don't need all those naked photos. So I went to the photographer, and she greeted me like, hey, and wasn't that so fun last night? And yeah, la 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 la. But I'm gonna need you to, erase those photos. And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But anyways, no, but seriously. And she was like, no. And, I just couldn't for the life of me. I was like, what do you mean? No, like, they're my photos. I'm like, well, what? There's no reason why you need to hold on to naked photos of me. And anyway, she stood firm, and I was gobsmacked. Okay. And I think it was about 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, I had to go through all kinds of release and let go, out of my control. Just, okay. And I ran into her a couple weeks later, and I said, that was really shitty, right? Like, I need you to freaking erase those photos. I brought it up again, and she was just like, well, whatever. You don't have to worry about it anyways, because her whole studio burnt down, including the computer that had all the photos on it. And I was like, oh, phew. So that was one instance, okay? And then another one was a neighbor who I caught being abusive to his partner, and I went out there to try and do something. Ended up calling the cops because, anyways, it wasn't well received. But for like 3 weeks later, it was a toxic environment. Like, they were my next door neighbors. So like slamming, like energetically not cool, man. Like he was trying to mess with me. And then, I was overwhelmed. I was energetically drained. I was having a nap. I woke up to somebody at my door, and it was him. And he's like, you got to get out of your place. Our place is on fire. And I was like, okay. And yeah, gutted their whole place. I got a little bit of smoke coming through into my place, but then I never saw those people again. Never. They were moved away, and I had no neighbors for 6 months. It was beautiful. Okay, so these are my guides who are powerful. So don't mess with the people, because even though you think you get away with the things, and it may seem like you do, there are consequences on multiple dimensions. And so don't mess with it. Be in a place of love, okay? But also, it's all part of everybody's pathway too. Sometimes you need to get burnt by a few dragons to learn not to mess with people, right? And that's part of your journey, okay? It's part of the taking your ownership of your own. And sorry, I went too far off on that story or those stories, okay? But don't use your gorgeous energy to mess with other people. Spirit sees all, and karma has a way, right? If what you give, you get back tenfold. This is why this time, this holding of the love vibe and this turning of the wheel is such a pivotal point, because it is a period when spirit is what is it when you check in or tally up? I'm thinking of when you're hydro, right? And you pay like a certain amount every month, regardless if you use that amount or not, and then it kind of pays forward, and then you kind of have like this little cache full of extra payment, and there's a certain adjustment period, a certain time of year, and you either get credits or whatever, right? And I feel like that's what the universe does. So if you've lived a lifetime where you have held the love frequency in the face of manipulation and deceit, and still only gave love, right? Still never once used any of your energy to wish ill upon another. Spirit, the universe caught it all, right? And all those times where you thought you were getting away with things. This is why part of the process of healing is holding people accountable for things that your past selves let them get away with, right? It's never too late. It's never too late. My past self thought it was okay that you treated them that way. But this version of me, no, right? No. Okay. I get the swans. Okay. Oh, hyena. Yes. Speaking of that, I don't know what hyena means, but beautiful. Okay, and the deer. So let's see. This hyena flew over to the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, and what we were talking about with the Seven of Swords. Okay, let's see what the hyena say. Okay, hyena. There. Humor, wit, and sarcasm. Okay. The hyena personality is a jokester. Isn't that interesting? Because this guy was a trickster, right? They both fell on the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. And a crowd pleaser. But below the surface, there are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it's time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humor to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships, or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? What would happen if you took your goals seriously? I thought it was going to say if you took your goggles off. No goggles. Goals. Okay. When in balance, charmy, witty, fun to be around. When out of balance, scrappy, petty, and suspicious. To bring into balance, sobriety. Okay. That was a strong one. Okay, so masking, expressing truth. I don't know. I think there's a time and a place. Read the room. Sarcasm, I feel, is just untruths, right? You're like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Sarcasm is exhausting. For me, anyways. But sometimes I guess it's the toxic awareness, right? Of how you are using humor. Sometimes humor is the perfect buffer. It enables people to move through hard topics and emotions while also keeping things warm and in love, right? If we go too heavy, too dark, too serious, it can be overwhelming. It can bury somebody in emotion. And so by keeping this lightness, I'm getting the little bobber that sits on the surface of the water so that the hook, the line that the hook is on, doesn't get stuck on the bottom, right? It stays at the perfect distance from the bottom. So there's something about balance and everything. Yes, we know this. Okay, dear. Loving, intuitive, graceful, the mother. Okay, beautiful. Empress energy. Also, this hyena, I mean, it could represent, because we're talking about the wheel of fortune turning, right? The old ways of being susceptible to deceit and manipulation, conflict, and trickery, right? I'm getting that ownership of this is how you used to be, own that, right? And that's where it can be kind of painful, right? Which one were we talking about? Which one was talking about that? The pains of the acknowledgement of how much you had been manipulated and disrespected when you didn't know, right? Okay. The deer represents the feminine aspect of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures regardless of gender, but is especially potent in new parents. During the first few days, they can fully present, nurturing, and calm. They are fully present, nurturing, and calm. Their inner beauty radiates, and a sense of grace calms the room. A deer personality affects others in this way, drawing them towards a quiet tenderness. The deer card may appear when a birth or celebration of a new life draws near, and when a situation calls for absolute gentleness and compassion. I think this is part of this ownership, right? All steps, it's all leading back to that. And even if you were the one who was manipulative and deceitful and trickster and insincere and all this kind of stuff, which I don't think you were. I just don't think you were. I was trying to, cover all the bases, but I don't think you were. I think this is part of what you had endured, and how it all contributed to where you are now and the sturdy, solid standing of your sentinel version of self, standing in your truth, right? It's like when you are raised in an environment where everybody denies your reality or your truth or your perspective, it forces you to explore, well, why? Why am I always wrong? Why is everybody else right? You start studying, you start observing, you get into psychology and sociology and trying to understand what makes people the way they make them and why they behave the way they behave and why they perceive in the way that they perceive, right? If you didn't have that nudge in that direction, you wouldn't have, and this all contributed to the understanding of you as well, right? First and foremost. And to be able to overcome the external telling you that you are something that you know that you are not, to break free, to realize, to own who you are, and to cut away all those people who can't see you, right? Who argue with you about who you are. People can only perceive through the lenses that they've lived. Ooh. Okay. Their inner beauty radiates and a sense of grace calms the room. A dear personality affects others in this way, drawing them towards a quiet tenderness. The dear card may appear when the birth or a celebration of a new life draws near. Okay, and this is it. This is a new dawn, a new day, a new life for you. Yes. Okay. But we need to acknowledge all of those and take ownership of all of the stepping stones, right? To liberate self, to truly shine and own our shine. You're so bright. Oh, I'm sorry, right? You're so bright. Yep. Right? Yep. Okay. When in balance, receptive, compassionate, and nurturing. When out of balance, concerned and protective, to bring into balance nature and children. Beautiful. Okay, so I feel like this is your turning of the wheel. One who was the turning of the wheel. I mean, it is. Okay. I was gonna say the same thing over again. We don't need to go there again. We get it. We get it. Okay. Into Swan. Effortless creativity, sensitive, mystic, and elegant power. Okay. This is the new way. This is the Empress way. Beautiful. Wow. Wow. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Okay. The swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there, to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. When in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, and lacking vision. And to bring into balance, solo time and writing. Okay. Solo time and writing, journal, or what have you. Okay, so that's beautiful. But yeah, on the topic of using humor to avoid hard topics, it's a read the room situation, right? A time and a place. Some messages don't land if another person can mistake it or write it off as a joke, right? This is sincerity. I think my son was 7 when I finally noticed how sarcastic and insincere the communication was in my family. And sure enough, I pulled him aside and we had the sincerity versus insincerity conversation, that there's a time and a place, and to be able to recognize and to see it. Otherwise, if you have no base level, then how can you ever trust anything anybody ever says to you, right? I mean, that's one of my things that I was always accused of, is being sarcastic or judgy or whatever when I'm just communicating. And it's because other people are implying what they think I'm implying when that's not true, right? So this distortion of your truth. But, you've learned, you've mastered, you've strengthened, and you are standing solid in your truth now. And you're gorgeous. Your truth and you're gorgeous. Okay, don't let guilt get in the way of happiness, okay? This is coming up. With this ownership. This is about liberating yourself from perceived limitations. Don't be guilty, be happy. Okay. Embrace your loving connections and be happy. And be happy. Clap around if you feel like the room's without a roof. I don't even know what the lyrics are. Because I'm happy. The room has no roof. I don't think that's the lyrics at all. But this reaching a ceiling, right? There is no ceiling. Limitless potential and possibility. You are tapping into creativity beyond any surface level, which is gorgeous. Again, this rainbow crow story. I'll try and find it and I'll put it in the transcriptions. Okay, we got 2. We got blessings landing on the sun. Okay. Beautiful. Do you need more confirmations? Here's another one. It's the moon, and it's saying, no, you don't need any more confirmations. You just trust in divine timing and the gradual revelation of all the things. Yes? Yes! Oh my goodness. We're way, way too far to be doing more things. But if you're still here, let's get some love messages. It was my story. It was so long. Sorry. Sorry about my story. Okay, what do we got here? Switch up your usual route, okay? Change creates new energy and moves old energy. This is what we want. Forest time, okay? Connect in with the elements. Get into an environment that is high vibing, and the forest is one of those places, okay? And remember that you're magical, and liberate yourself from all thoughts that are contrary to this, okay? Wow. The work you are doing is gorgeous. You are feeding love, and it loves you for it, and it loves you for it. Okay, that is what I have for you. Recognize you're gorgeous and shine on, magical creature. Hope to see you next time. Bye for now.